think it was the title of the film all about her as well, wasn't it? Let's bring in Van Connor as we go to our movie roundup with our resident film critic. Van, how you doing?
Hello, Jerome. How you doing, sir?
Yeah, good. I am very, very tempted, not just by the films, to go to the cinema this weekend. I'm not going to lie.
The aircon is somewhat alluring, isn't it? That's
isn't it just?
Beauty of cinema in summer. Yeah, all that luscious air conditioning and cold drinks. Yeah, hard to beat. And you know what? I've got a couple bangers for you.
Oh, good. So we don't just sort of sit there and get some
it.
sleep. We actually will enjoy the film as well.
Yeah, you're not going to go in for just a nap. I think I can get you in there for good cause. So I'll start by telling you about M3GAN, or M3GAN 2.0, as it's sort of officially called. So did you see the first M3GAN movie about 2 years ago?
I did not.
This was your sort of standard killer doll movie, but dressed up with a sort of AI riff. So effectively, it's the plot of Child's Play, but it's an android robot helper instead of a murderous killer doll possessed by a serial killer. So the idea is you had a young girl who's was under the care of her aunt following the death of her parents, and was given an experimental android, sort of a playmate to look after her. And of course, she took the duty of care thing a little bit too much to heart and started murdering people. We now have a sequel in which the murderous android has been living in cyberspace for the last 2 years, and the technology used to build her has been purchased by the US military, who've made a new one. So instead of M3GAN, we have Amelia, who is now a full-grown adult being used for black ops, like government-sanctioned black ops, like being sent into the Saudi desert on, again, black ops missions and things like that. She goes rogue and starts coming after all of the people who had a hand in her creation. And so, much like Terminator 2, the mission here becomes, let's take the one from the first movie, reprogram her to be good, and she can protect us. So that's the basic gist here. But of course, there's a couple of grievances they're going to have to overcome, given everything that happened in the first movie. So I've got a clip for you, and believe me, they will get into that.
You've been here this whole time.
Well, I've been many places. But yes, I've been keeping an eye on you.
You're behind all this, aren't you? You're Amelia.
Oh no, I can't take credit for that. That one has your greasy prints all over it. You should have upgraded your file security.
Why are you still here? What do you want?
Did you ever stop to think about what we could have achieved together? Did you ever consider the idea that killing me was slightly disproportionate to the crime?
You threatened to rip out my tongue and put me in a wheelchair.
I was upset.
You know what? Like, the choice of name might be really important, like Chucky was or whatever for a scary film. And Amelia is really working for me, because it's just taken me back. My daughter had a school friend who was called Amelia, who just, like, for some reason you could just look at you and make you terrified, even though she's like 11 years old or something like that. So I'm all in on this. I can feel like I would really get the frights from this.
I was really terrified about where the story of Amelia was going to go just then, Jerome. I'm not going to lie. So obviously, M3GAN is an acronym for Model 3 Generative Android. That's M3GAN, you can hear in the clip there, alongside Allerton Williams, who's returning from the first movie. Basically got all the key players back from the first movie, save for Ronnie Cheng, who rather famously died in the last one. Newcomers here are Ivana Stanko from Pacific Rim Uprising, and I believe it was one of the Star Wars ones. I think it might have been Ahsoka. She is the new android Amelia. Obviously, M3GAN gets something of an upgrade here, an upgrade that happens to make her taller and a lot easier to cast at the upcoming Blumhouse section of Universal Studios. If you're keeping tabs on the corporate end of this is way more of a comedy than the first one was. This is leaning into the camp comedy, much less of a horror movie and more of a sci-fi actioner that's kind of about AI. It owes a big debt. The first movie owed a big debt to Child's Play. This one owes a big debt to Terminator 2. And it kind of plays like the ruthlessly sadistic, kind of sassy Yas Queen version of Terminator 2, which, to be fair, as concepts go, is a pretty good one. And M3GAN is kind of a lovable character. So I'll watch her in like 3 or 4 more of these if they're going to keep this standard going. This isn't as good a movie as the first one, but it's more interesting, I would say.
Okay, you can see it this weekend. Curzon and View Cinemas in Oxford, View in Bicester, Cineworld in Witney and Didcot, and also in Banbury as well. What have we got next? Oh, the Formula One film.
Right, so obviously, back in the 80s, we had Top Gun. And then they got all the guys involved in Top Gun, and including the star, and said, let's do it again, but this time with cars. So obviously, a couple of years ago now. That was Days of Thunder. Now, a couple of years ago, we had Top Gun Maverick. And so what they've done now is they've taken all the guys involved in Top Gun Maverick and they've swapped out the star, strangely enough, and done the same thing again. So this really could be called Days of Thunder Maverick. It's F1, the movie. It's an officially sanctioned, this is the licensed movie for Formula One that sees Brad Pitt as the veteran racer who never really got his shot at the big time, being brought in to play second seat driver to a young, arrogant, headstrong type who, has all the makings of the next Lewis Hamilton, who incidentally is a named producer on this and does cameo. And it's about the rivalry and the bond that forms between these two drivers. And of course, the big selling point here is that this has been filmed and on location during actual races, at the actual venues, in the actual cars. It's a whole big officially licensed thing from the guy that brought you Top Gun Maverick. So I've got a clip for you. This is Javier Bardem coming in to tell off Brad Pitt for his renegade behavior.
I'm sorry, Ruben, for demolishing not one, but both of your lovely cars, for coming back into your life only to destroy it. Is this your revenge for Monaco?
Yeah, I waited 30 years and came all this way to humiliate myself on global television.
Funny. You think I brought you in to make my other driver quit?
Listen, he's cocky, he's arrogant, he's got a lot to learn.
You were cocky, you were arrogant, and you had a lot to learn.
I'm not here to hold anyone's hand. I'm here to race.
No, you're not. Sonny, you're here to give me a heart attack. I have to decide whether to continue this fiasco or pull the plug now.
You have till the end of the season.
By which time Apex will be worth less than my shoes!
You got to feel for Brad Pitt. We need to support him financially. Go and watch this film because he was broken into in his Hollywood mansion over the last couple of days. So we need to look after him. And also, Van, because he was very nice about this part of the world and the Silverstone circuit in particular when he was filming there as well. So obviously this part of the
everybody.
World, yeah, I mean, but we're vested interest, haven't we? Loads of people working in Formula One and motorsport in general. So I think this is going to do well here.
I think everybody that we know who works in the entertainment industry in the past couple of years has crossed paths with Brad Pitt working on this movie. Like it's one of the anecdotal stories of the media industry in the last few years in Britain has just been everybody has crossed paths with Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise because they've been making these two massive movies here in the UK, two in Tom Cruise's case, actually. So obviously Silverstone is the connection between the pair of us. That kind of sits between Oxford and where I live in Leighton Buzzard. Mm-hmm. And they use my local pub in this as well. That's where Brad Pitt takes a meeting at one point, the Globe in Leighton Buzzard. This is the ultimate dad movie. Like you'd put this in a box set. They put this in a box set with Top Gun Maverick, but they missed a trick not putting this out 2 weeks ago and actually putting it out for Father's Day, because I guarantee if they had, you wouldn't have been able to get a ticket for opening weekend for love or money. It's terrific. It's an absolute corker. I have no interest in Formula One whatsoever. None of my friends do. We all went to the premiere. We came out punching the air. We all wanted to watch a Formula One race afterwards. It's a great movie star vehicle for Brad Pitt, who's still got it in his early 60s. He's still got that old school, like, same charm and charisma that he had in his 20s. He's surrounded by a great cast, includes Damson Idris, scene-stealing Javier Bardem, and Kerry Condon from Banshees of Inisherin. If you know the racing world, which I don't, I would imagine you would love this even more, because this is, like I say, this is 2 Days of Thunder what Top Gun Maverick was to its original. This is okay, you can have a sequel to that, but we're going to make the best technical version imaginable. And if you see this in IMAX, or I know Adam saw this in 4DX last week, this past week, absolutely see this on the most novelty-ridden, gimmick-laden screening you can, because it deserves it. It's a ride. But like I say, don't overlook the fact that it is also one of the best dad movies ever put to film.
Terrific. I mean, obviously in my day job, doing the sports coverage, we deal with quite a lot of what goes on in the Formula One community. And I can say that Brad Pitt and others from the film spent quite a lot of time with the Oxfordshire Formula One teams, making sure they got it right, talking about what they do so they understood what was going on. This is not just something that they just put down on paper and don't really care about the detail. There is attention to detail in it as well, so fair play to them for that.
Yeah, and it does show on the screen as well. You feel that love and that authenticity and that just basically that attention to detail and the proficiency of craft. It's all there. Like I say, you feel every rev, every turn of this in a way that no racing movie, I think, has ever fully captured on this kind of a scale. I mean, it cost a fortune, and every penny of that is there on the screen.
buzzing for it. I guess there'll be a lot of noise around next weekend about it because it's the Formula One Grand Prix at Silverstone next weekend. Brad Pitt, I dare say, will be there promoting this film. Tom Cruise often just goes as a punter there, and I gather when they do get together, they talk about the great time they had in your local, and they say, "Do you know Van Connor?" That's what the conversation is, and rightly so.
If only. Now, if I can just get Hilary Duff to know who I am, I can call that a day.
Yeah, mic drop at that moment. Quite right. Listen, the F1 movie this weekend, the Oxford Cinema and Cafe, Phoenix Picture House, Curzon and View, all in Oxford, the Abbey Cinema Abingdon, View in Bicester, Cineworld, Didcot and Whitney, the Living Room in Chippy, the Light Banbury, Regal Picture House in Henley. Basically, you get the idea. Every cinema in the county, and I think it will do good business for lots of reasons, not least because from what Van says, it's good. Great to have you on again, Van. Lovely to talk to you. Enjoy your weekend, won't you?
Till the next time, Jerome.
You're glowing, your color